Have you been fact-checked? Well, I just want you to know that Meta/Facebook/ whatever the hell they're trying to come up with next to get clicks has now got a kind of agreement pact with one of the universities in Australia. RMIT has now been contracted to provide up to 50 fact checks a month of your content online. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, I mean, it's a university, so basically you already know. This is the part here. I'll just leave 2-second silence, where you can imagine just what I'll say because you think it too. Anything that comes from a university these days is a freaking joke. It just is. Do you guys even learn anything over there anymore? Is it just blue hair, dye and pickets? Recently, a news source called Rebel News, which has, I believe, teams in Australia as well as Canada, came out with some information regarding this. Now, I believe the reason they came out with it is because somebody, a reporter for them or a manager or something, someone is actually getting sued or has a lawsuit brought against them. And so during that, you need to disclose documents. And one of the documents that was disclosed was a contract between Meta and RMIT and the way they handle quote unquote fact checking. So I went on a little journey just to have a look. And it's got things that you would imagine would be there, that they were debunking very important claims that you couldn't figure out for yourself. So the claim that a Big Mac and fries has less fat than a piece of salmon. And what they did is their in-depth analysis was to come out with a conclusion at the end of an article for which they were paid. I believe they said $100 a pop. I have to go back and check that. To tell you that it's missing context. So when people say a Big Mac has more fat than a salmon, it means sat fat regarding healthy fat and versus trans fat. Trans. Ooh, click this video. It's popular with the kiddies these days. And that's the kind of work they're doing. However, on their site, they also say that they started fact checking at RMIT in 2016. Seems a lot of quote-unquote fact-checking started around 2016. And whatever you think about the election and what happened in America, the fact of the matter is it was pretty dodgy. There were some weird things happening around there that probably should have some further investigation. But as we know, the narrative pushes on, goes on, and fuck what you think about finding a paper passport at the bottom of the trade centers because we're just moving on now, okay? Ooh, real-time fact check on this video. I made a mistake. So, according to the agreement that was uncovered, Meta will pay RMIT Fact Lab, which is the team that's doing this, $800 for each explanatory article, with the potential to publish up to 50 articles per month, resulting in a maximum monthly payment of $40,000. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to deem your truth the be-all end-all over the actual truth. So the team RMIT's Fact Lab is obviously run by RMIT, who profess to say that they receive donations from different places and people involved in philanthropy. Now, that's a concern because we do have the yes vote to Parliament coming up, the yes-no vote, whatever the official term is, and people are concerned that several others with the means to pay for it will inject their bias into, well, what they did last time, when you couldn't post about elections, when you couldn't post about your opinion on a certain candidate, when you couldn't quote certain candidates. And there is a concern that this will happen again in Australia during that important election. So some people are concerned because the agreement is worth nearly $500,000 annually, and that's a lot of money, right? So everyone's just looking into who exactly is behind that. And when you go onto the website and indeed into the Fact Lab area, there are links that don't open that are constantly saying, oh, this website's under construction, etc. Judith Neilson, Institute for Journalism and Ideas, I'm looking at you. Every time I click on this, it doesn't work, and I would like to know more because your institute is listed in the same paragraph as Corona Check newsletter that is funded with donations from you and the International Fact Checking Network, which I'd love to learn more about. And certainly RMIT actually has a fact check club. So if you'd like to delegate your thought process to a bunch of teenagers, because they do allow students in year 7 to 10, I believe I read, to get experience doing this kind of work. If you want to delegate your thought process to those people, you can sign up to Checkmate, which is the newsletter that tells you how to think, and you can get told how to think right in your inbox every single day. So that's definitely an option that you can do as well. How convenient, what a time we live in. So the RMIT website in the Fact Lab section does spruik that it offers a 90-minute online course to students of any discipline to, quote unquote, boost their fact-checking skills. The Fact Lab provides the opportunity to learn with the highly popular Fact Check micro-credential. The 90-minute online course is free and endorsed by the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Commie Commission, and free to all RMIT students. So they cookie cutter them and shove them out into the world for us to make fun of and try and scratch our head and figure out how these kids are coming out so stupid. This is why. So platforms such as ABC Online, and there is a weekly debunking newsletter called Corona Check, will help you with how to think. Why am I doing this? Because I want to remind you that whatever you see on social media and these giant platforms is never going to be the truth. And they have the nerve to say that they are stopping misinformation and disinformation and debunking this and debunking that, unless it's from sources that they endorse, where they're receiving their grants from, essentially. So what is this video? It's just a reminder that when you share a meme that says a Big Mac is less fattening than salmon, and you know the nuance behind it and you get what it's trying to say, and you get pinged for it on Facebook and suspended for 30 days and you can't go live and things like that, it is not changing. There are new agreements in place every single day, and there are people making money from pushing an agenda that you do not have the power to stop, at least not by yourself. So sometimes it's best not to be in the battle, and best to just jump over to a different platform. You shouldn't even be on the big name platforms anymore. Unfortunately, some people have to do it for business, have to do it to keep in touch with their family and things of that nature. But if you can, move off them. They do not need your business because they do not respect you, and they do not respect your ideas or your way of thinking about the world. Before I go, if you care to hang out, have a chat with us, usually my Friday night we go live on Rumble. And it's usually an hour, 2 hours tops, just having a chat, looking at the local news that's come up and things that we think, and the chat goes off and we all talk about it. So if you want to come hang out, that is something that you can do. It's EDT time 9:30. For me, it's 9:30 p.m. And if you can remember that, we'll see you there. Don't want to be one of those people that's asking you to sub and like, but if you feel like commenting or liking, that would help me out. It'll give me the power to do more of these episodes.